External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid has met the Prime Minister over the Italian Marines issue. The government will be approaching the Supreme Court over the matter. That's the information that we're getting to you right now. Remember that the case has become controversial following the Italian Marines refusing to return to India with the support of the Italian government. I want to go straight across to my network colleague Ritul Joshi for more on this story. Ritul, what more can you tell us about this meeting? Khurshid has met the Prime Minister.
Yes, as you rightly mentioned that this case has become very controversial after the Italian Marines refused to come back, but it has also become a big source of embarrassment for the government also because, as you know, opposition is gunning for the government's blood because of the Italian connection here. And what we have learned very reliably is that Salman Khurshid had sought an appointment with the Prime Minister this morning and he was supposed to meet him at 9:45. The meeting will be still on right now and expected to get over soon. After the Prime Minister took a very hard stand on this issue, the External Affairs Ministry is now mulling on further options as to what can be done to get the Marines back and also to kind of tide over the embarrassment which has been caused to the government by the entire controversy.
Ritul, are you hearing anything about what the government plans to do? What are these options that exist on the table right now?
The options can be many, right up to stripping the ambassador of his diplomatic immunity and asking him to go back. But here we must also mention that these are very extreme options. It will not be considered in haste. As of now, what we hear from NEA sources is that all the diplomatic channels are open. The government is constantly talking with the government of Italy through the ambassador, and they're also waiting for the deadline of 22nd March to approach before they can take up any further action. Because as you said, as you know that they were given 4 weeks to go to Italy and then come back to India, and the deadline expires on 22nd of March. So till the deadline expires, NEA doesn't want to get into any hasty action, but the channels of communication with the Italian government are open and extreme displeasure has been conveyed to the government of Italy.
Ritul, many thanks for that update. I want to also bring in Sanjay Hegde, senior lawyer, for a legal perspective on this. Mr. Hegde, what are the government's legal options at this time? The External Affairs Minister is meeting the Prime Minister in a short while from now, and the government is expected to approach the Supreme Court. What are they planning to do? What are the legal options on the table?
No, the legal options on the table are largely dictated by what the Supreme Court itself thinks.
Yes.
Because it's a Supreme Court order that prima facie at this stage appears to have been violated. Though there is still time for the Italians to repent and still make good whatever they have submitted in the Supreme Court. So the deadline which has originally been set by the Supreme Court having not expired, it is possible that the government may tell the Supreme Court that we are doing everything to persuade the Italians to fall in line. Please wait till your deadline expires. If after the expiry the situation still remains the same, it is then that the Supreme Court will have to find means to enforce its order. And there again the government of the day will probably advise them as to what best it can do insofar as its contempt jurisdiction.
But Mr. Hegde, this is a peculiar situation, is it not? The advantage is definitely not with India at this time, legally even.
No. It is a peculiar situation. It is an unprecedented situation for a sovereign nation to tell through its ambassador who was speaking on instructions given to him from the highest levels of that government.
Correct, yes.
That they would take the Marines back to Italy, get them to vote and bring them back within 4 weeks. When a solemn government gives a solemn undertaking like that, normally it is accepted. But when a government then goes back on its word, how does a court enforce it?
Yes.
And especially in an international law situation. This is unprecedented almost anywhere in the world. The slew of measures, both diplomatic and economic, may have to be undertaken outside the judicial process also to bring about voluntary compliance with the judicial process in India, and the Italian government, which has submitted to the Supreme Court's jurisdiction by bringing up a writ petition to the Supreme Court, and then in those very proceedings giving that undertaking